Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Nice August day here in Winston-Salem. We're here to celebrate and have a great time. This wonderful new recreational facility that we're opening up today. I want to recognize some visitors here. We hear some speakers coming forward. I want to recognize Mike Finley is here representing Senator Richard Burr's office. Mike, thank you for being here as well. I want to represent our really good friend, former council member, former state representative Larry Womble is here. Larry and I talked a little bit last week, and Larry reminded me that he started talking about the need to develop this area 30 years ago, Larry? 30 years ago. So it took a little while, but here we are. Glad to be here, too. This is a wonderful, wonderful project. As we, the city, Winston-Salem, invested some of your money. You approved back in 2014 about $139 million for projects all across the city of Winston-Salem, a lot of them parks and recreation, and this is one of those key projects. And Councilmember Taylor, whose ward we're in, will talk more about that, I'm sure, in detail. But basically, you're looking at $5 million here to create this park and the Walltown connector that comes into this particular facility. As you know, there'll be two greenways that converge in here, so you can go and get to this spot from a number of different ways. I want to certainly personally thank Vulcan Materials. Tom Carroll, we'll hear from him in a moment, and this wonderful donation of this facility to the citizens of Winston-Salem. Tom brought a little souvenir for us sitting over there. Rock, I think Tom told me it weighs 56,000 pounds. Don't try to pick it up. It's a big one. But it's I think just a great recognition of the material that came out of this quarry and what called it there. We also want to thank Molly Light and her family. Molly Light's former council member representing the South Ward, and her family donated land that allowed us to put in the connectors and some of the transportation facilities to make this happen. But most of all, we certainly thank the citizens of Winston-Salem for their confidence in us as we brought that bond issue forward, where you overwhelmingly approved us issuing bonds for these types of projects. Right now, I'm going to ask our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Burke, to make some comments.
Good morning on this beautiful day. It is just simply wonderful. To all of you who gathered here, this will be something that we will remember for on and on to come. I know that all of us are proud and happy that we can witness this great event. When I think about what the mayor just said, that former alderman, councilman, state rep Womble started this, and it took this many years, and it took Councilman Taylor to just push it and say, this is what we want to have happen. And it's so wonderful when the elected officials can work together and see the results of the work. And also, Mayor, I know you probably will say something about our Recreation and Parks Commission. I see some of them are here, the chairman and members. And I just want to say it's hot out here. And I want to say I have enough sense to just say, God be with us. May we, with the city manager and his staff, the mayor and the council, and all volunteers who work together to make our city this great city, may we continue, and may God be with you, and especially to our future leaders, the children here today. Have a nice morning.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Burke. This area is represented by Councilmember James Taylor, the Southeast Ward, and he'll tell you about how sensational it is. But we're delighted to have our Councilmember from the Southeast Ward, Councilmember James Taylor, Jr.
Good morning. I bring greetings on behalf of the residents of the sensational Southeast Ward. Yeah. You knew I'd do that, didn't you, Mayor? And the work that we're doing here today is one of the reasons why we're so sensational. If you look around and you see exactly what this quarry has become, it means so many things to so many people. But to me, this quarry is personal. I'm joined here today by my mother, Demetrius Taylor, but I want to give a small shout out to my father, who is not here today. I can remember, and I see some residents from around the way, Ms. Tracy and several other people, what we would do. This is a neighborhood secret. So some people, this is new, right? To some people, this is a neighborhood secret. We've been sneaking down here for years. But I remember coming down here one day with my father, and he had worked a lot, he had been moving a lot, and this was some time where we got to sit back. We did a little bit of fishing, we did a little bit of bonding, we talked a little bit about the birds and the bees. So when I see this, I see the jobs that were created, I see the economic and community development, but for me, this is personal. I know for so many more of you, as I look around the audience, I see you nodding your heads, this is personal. I'm honored to be able to be here today for this ribbon cutting. I mentioned the community and economic development. Thank you to the voters who helped to make this happen, to the neighbors on both sides who tolerated it. You are looking at the renaissance or the rebirth of the southeastern portion of the city. Every vote that we made to develop downtown with the Salem Creek Connector, you will see the development come on this side of town. The quarry is the first step. We've got the golf course, we've got Salem Lake, we've got the district police office, we've got all of the trails that hold this all together. You're looking at the infusion of millions of dollars into the southeastern portion of the community, and there are more to come. So on behalf of the residents of the Southeast Ward, I thank the staff from the Director of Parks and Recs, Mr. Royston, the City Manager, Mr. Garrity, Mr. Conrad, the Chair of Parks and Recs, all the way down to the person who brought the rock from the quarry over. We thank you, because without you, none of this will be possible. And on behalf of all of us, we thank you for what you do to help our city to be a better place to live, work, and relax. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Taylor. We're also joined this morning by a number of our city council members. Raise your hands there. Councilmember Adams, Councilmember Besse, Councilmember McIntosh, Councilmember John Larson, and Councilmember Durham Montgomery. Certainly, any of you, ladies and gentlemen, would like to make a word, say a word, welcome to. As Councilmember Burke said, it's hot, but John?
I just have two quick comments. You may know I'm an architectural historian, and I think the thing that we can sometimes remember about this is starting in the 1920s, this rock, this hole over here allowed that town to be built. The stone coming out of that quarry would be used as part of the development of the town, and that connection then to be able to take that hole now and celebrate not only the natural environment of it, but to celebrate the construction of the town, I think is a connection that I love to make. I have one question for you guys. How many people snuck down here over the years? Go ahead, raise your hands. Raise your hands. Yeah, there you go. There, right there. That guy right there. And the point of that matter is you guys knew what this place was. You saw what it could be. And I'm proud of the mayor, I'm proud of my council members, and I'm proud of you guys who would vote the money to allow us to celebrate this place in all of its manifestations for years to come. Thank you for your help on that.
Dan Besse, our resident Greenway aficionado.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to all of you for being here today. You know, the old saying kind of turned around a little bit, that defeat is an orphan and victory has 1,000 parents. Well, I see a lot of the parents here today for this new park, this new greenway, this incredible contribution to our city, our community as a whole. To elaborate a little bit on what my friend and colleague, Councilmember Taylor, mentioned, you can see what a spectacular facility this is. What a wonderful park and recreation center it will be for our community. But this is even more than that, because it is part of what will bring all of our city to you here in the Southeast and connect you through the new trail that is now open all the way to downtown and beyond around our city. Make it easy for folks on foot, walking, running, on cycles. We have a delegation of cyclists who came all the way across town from downtown this morning to be part of this opening. And a lot of people saw years ago the potential for this place to be a part of our community network, an important part, and help our community to share with each other. I remember, as Councilmember Taylor mentioned, and as Councilmember Larson mentioned, I remember times slipping past, an open gate to come down here and see it. And that included time shortly after I was first elected to the council, and I was thinking, there is a plan for a Walltown Greenway, and that would help cement the place of the quarry as belonging to the entire community and provide an opportunity for everybody, not just in these neighborhoods, but adjacent to the quarry, but also the entirety of Winston-Salem to come and see and take part and fellowship here. And that vision that a lot of people had and a lot of people worked hard to put in place and the voters supported in 2014 is now reality. You're a part of kicking it off today. Thank you for coming. It's a joy to be here.
Thank you, Councilmember Besse. Well, obviously, in order to make this happen, we had to have the land, and Vulcan Materials, a wonderful corporate citizens of our community for decades, if not centuries, donated this property to the city of Winston-Salem in 1998. So Tom Carroll, if you'll come, Tom is the Director of Business Development and External Affairs for Vulcan Materials. Tom, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, as many people have said, this is just really a great honor for us to be a participant in this. For many decades, as John indicated, this particular facility served the community by both providing jobs and the essential building materials that, as he noted, built Winston-Salem. It's built homes, schools, highways, and on behalf of over 200 Vulcan employees that live and work in this community, we are pleased that what some have described, I think I've seen in literature, as a hidden gem is no longer hidden and is coming to serve the community as a wonderful recreational resource. There's some retired Vulcan folks in the audience, and you'll see a few of them around here, but I'm going to pick on one of them. James King and myself, probably, I guess it was 15, 18 years ago, along with then Councilman Fred Terry and a little-known assistant city manager who went on to do some other things. You may know him, Alan Joins. Oh, yeah. While many are involved in this, and obviously we had the support of our company in donating this property to the city, sometimes you hear of these things as abandoned. They weren't abandoned, they were reclaimed, and it's getting put into an additional use. We've also had quarries that have been made as part of public water supplies and working on similar projects up and down the East Coast. So as the mayor indicated, if you didn't see it, that's a small 56,000-pound boulder that was recently donated. We made a commitment to Councilman Taylor earlier this year when we were out here at the initial groundbreaking, which I think, Mayor Pro Tem, it was what, about 33 degrees and about 25-mile-an-hour winds? Very cool. Yeah. Dan's the only one that's smart enough to wear a short-sleeve shirt, so. We are going to work with the city on some additional displays and interpretive items that be placed out here at the park to expand on the earth science education, STEM education element. We also have a Mineral Museum Earth Science Center at our facility, which we're based here in Winston-Salem for our division headquarters. And over the years, we've had tens of thousands of school children come and visit that facility. So this will be a natural extension of that. In closing, I'd like to congratulate everyone that's been a part of this, the voters, as the mayor indicated, to make this possible, and the staff and the city designers that were involved and the consultants who were involved that brought this beauty to the site for everyone to enjoy. So thank you very much. Mayor, I'd like to
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. And thanks again to Vulcan Materials for being such a wonderful corporate partner for us here. Obviously, we have a wonderful staff that's made this all happen. Our city manager's here, Greg Turner, our assistant city manager's here. The designer, Doug Stimmel, with Stimmel Associates, as I saw him earlier someplace here, and the Stitch design group that designed the structure here. Maybe others, but I wanted to certainly recognize them as well. I wanted to recognize our former Recreation Parks Director, Nick Jamison. I saw him here earlier. Nick helped get this ball going as well. And now we have a wonderful recreation park staff that will be activating this park and making it a wonderful addition. You know, a few years ago, Winston-Salem got a little dinged by saying we were a little bit below our average in terms of having parks and recreational acreage here. Well, this single action right here adds 200 acres to our inventory right now and helps move us up and make us more competitive in that regard. But let me call on now our Parks and Recreation Director, William Royston, to tell us more about this wonderful facility.
I know it's hot, but how's everyone feeling they're feeling this morning? All right, is that the best you can do? We opening this brand new park. How's everybody feeling this morning? That's what I'm talking about. I would like to first off thank everyone that has played a role in making this, developing this facility a reality. And it starts with everyone here. There are a lot of staff members, elected officials, the community. This is what defines a team. This is also what defines community. We can't do it all by ourselves. We've had some excellent designers, engineers, landscape architects, contractors, volunteers, some of the best people that I've actually had the opportunity to work with. It's truly an honor to be here today and to be a part of this. I know I kind of snuck up here after I've been with the city 12 years, and after about 2 weeks, staff brought me up here, and I was to sneak up here. I was the one sneaking up here to having my lunch, and just found that it was so beautiful and so peaceful that it was such a jewel and such a gem that we've been working tirelessly ever since to try to figure out a way to safely provide an opportunity for other people to come out and enjoy it as well. I'm truly honored today to be here. Truly honored to be a part of this. We have inflatables for people to use. They're not just for kids. They're for adults as well. After we conclude with the ribbon cutting, we have frisbees that we'll be giving away frisbees to the kids. We'll also be doing a small raffle also at that time to give away some blankets. We have hot dogs, hamburgers, and drinks that are being provided by the Carolina Thunderbirds today. We're also giving, we have several golf carts, and if anybody would like to take a tour of the property, we'll provide golf cart tours as well. Again, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, elected officials, city manager, staff. Robert Presswood and his staff worked tirelessly to help bring this, get this and manage the construction of this project together. Just thank you to everyone, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, William, and thank you for mentioning Robert Presswood. I neglected to mention him. He's an engineer who's been in charge of projects all across the city of Winston-Salem. We've got about 300 projects going on around the city right now, so William, Mr. Presswood has been very, very busy, but has got all these done. So I'm going to invite what we're here for, and that's to cut the ribbon. I'll invite all of our elected officials to come up behind the ribbon. Mr. Conrad, the chairman of the Recreation Parks, come on up. And Mr. Womble, come on up here.